This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. This is trenchfoot, a fish that walks on land, solves problems, and can even recognize humans. But keeping a pet mudskipper is harder than anyone tells you, and almost no one has ever got them to have babies in captivity. So can I do the impossible and raise a family of walking fish? This turned into a love story, a survival story, and a story few have managed to tell. This begins with a mistake I made 150 days ago, and we have a serious problem. Trenchfoot was once an energetic mudskipper who would hop around her tank, but something bad has happened. For the past few weeks she has barely moved from this spot. You see, mudskippers require mud, soft enough so they can burrow in it, but durable enough so those burrows won't collapse. I was so worried about the burrows collapsing that I added clay, and lots of it. Over time, the clay has become as hard as a rock, stagnant pockets have formed, and the mangroves have outgrown the tank. What was once Trenchfoot's home is hurting her. Don't worry, little buddy, I got you. Trenchfoot is getting pure mud so she can build a burrow, more height so the mangroves can grow tall, and a real tidal system that simulates the exact conditions of her home in nature. Fish are not the most expressive animals, but I get a strong feeling she's not happy about being in this box. And for the first time in weeks, Trenchfoot began to explore her surroundings. That mud used to be as solid as a rock, but now it's soft and squelchy, exactly what it needs to be, and Trenchfoot's home is fit for a mudskipper. But while that first problem is behind us, we have a much bigger one to solve. Every single pet mudskipper in the world is taken from the wild, because almost no one has ever bred them in captivity. Mudskippers are not one animal. There are dozens of species widespread across the world. They live in intertidal muddy areas where salt and fresh water meet, and that means that recreating a real mudskipper biome in your home is a very difficult project, but getting them to have babies is on another realm of difficulty. If nobody cracks captive breeding, they'll keep being taken from the wild, but if I can do this in my spare bedroom, maybe things will begin to change. It wasn't so long ago that Trenchfoot was tiny, skinny, and being bullied by a larger mudskipper, something we will revisit in this video. After the bully was removed, she made a full recovery and is now a healthy and happy adult who is ready to have babies. But to complete this extraordinarily difficult task, it takes 2 mudskippers, and there is someone very special I would love for you to meet. Now, before we meet this very important character, there is something I'd like to show you. Trenchfoot lives in a world where I have complete control over her environment, but when it comes to being online, most of us do not have that same level of control. I use a VPN called Surfshark that encrypts your data and keeps your online activity private. Surfshark stops websites building profiles on us and stops us being tracked online. This is especially useful when using public Wi-Fi, as these connections are easy to intercept and are certainly not secure. It's really simple to use. You just open the app or browser extension, tap connect, and that's it. You're totally protected and private. Go to surfshark.com/terrariums or use code terrariums at checkout to get 4 extra months free. And at the end of the day, I think we are all better off having a bit more control over our environment. Surfshark is really simple to use, highly effective, and has slotted simply into my day-to-day life. And speaking about slotting into day-to-day life, I have a mudskipper who is about to meet her boyfriend. Say hello to Doughboy, a dwarf Indian mudskipper who has a real chance of making history. But it's not as simple as just placing him into Trenchfoot's tank. As we have previously seen, this can end badly, so I need a plan. If I make Doughboy a nursery tank, beef him up a bit, place the tank next to Trenchfoot so they can see each other, we should get an idea of how this interaction will go. But the very moment I did that, Trenchfoot did something I have never seen her do before. For the first time in her entire life, Trenchfoot fully displayed her dorsal fin, showing that she recognises Doughboy in his nursery tank. In return, Doughboy loses his mind and jumps up against the glass, and this tells us two things. 1. Doughboy is a little bit nuts, and 2. We might just be on the verge of creating a mudskipper family. But as the tide came in, things went up a gear. Now Trenchfoot and I have a little routine. Whenever it's feeding time, she comes to the front of the tank and does an impression of me getting out of a swimming pool. But this time, with Doughboy nearby, Trenchfoot took centre stage and began to show us why mudskippers are so special. Maybe it's the pheromones in the air, or maybe it's because I'm one step closer to starting a mudskipper family, but I may be on the verge of capturing something that has never been captured before. But to actually achieve this goal, the mudskippers have to meet, and this is where things took a turn for the worse. Two mudskippers meeting can end very badly. This is compounded by the fact that Trenchfoot is considerably larger than Doughboy, and the entire mangrove is her territory. If she does not accept him, she will attack. But if she does accept him, we will be one step closer to our goal. After 2 weeks of watching them flirt through the glass, I decided it was time. I opened the lid to Doughboy's box, and with the poise and grace of a mudskipper, he hops into the mangrove. Could this actually be the moment our mudskippers finally embrace?
Oh my god.
Despite whacking Doughboy in the face with her tail, our mudskipper's fins are vibrant red, signifying that they are aroused. Trenchfoot seems keen on Doughboy and keeps waddling over to him and displaying her fins. But Doughboy is scared of Trenchfoot, and as soon as she realised he wasn't playing ball, her entire demeanour changed. The entire land area belongs to Trenchfoot, and poor Doughboy is left with a perch on the filter. If this is ever going to work, Doughboy needs land so he can build a burrow, but he also needs to be big enough so Trenchfoot doesn't scare him, and right now he is losing on every front, so I have a plan. Trenchfoot must go, for now, so that Doughboy can eat without being chased and can claim some land as his own. If he can beef up a bit and build a burrow, things will be back in motion. But even the best plans have flaws, and no matter how thorough a plan is, nothing is straightforward with mudskippers. With Trenchfoot gone, Doughboy's behaviour has totally changed, and he is the king of this mudflat. And with that, the next phase is about to commence. I have taken every step to build my mudskippers a home that will allow them to have babies, but there is one big task that fully rests on Doughboy's shoulders, and this is what makes mudskippers so fascinating. Doughboy must create a burrow or use one that I make. But mudskipper burrows are not just random holes in the ground, they are shaped like the letter J, so when they flood during high tide, an air pocket is formed inside the burrow, and it's right here, in that air pocket, where any eggs will be laid. Just before the eggs hatch, the male uses his mouth to remove the air pocket, so when the tide comes in, the babies can swim out into the water. But I am getting ahead of myself, because if this is ever going to happen, King Doughboy needs to actually use a burrow. Now I am not kidding when I say that within 20 minutes, Doughboy had explored every burrow that I made for him, but what is extraordinary is that every morning since, he sits right here. And this is particularly significant because Doughboy has chosen this burrow. When Trenchfoot comes back inside, she will be entering his zone, and with Doughboy larger, more confident, and now with a burrow, this has the potential to be very, very special. I have always wondered what the moon looks like in the Sundarbans. The combination of moonlight and nocturnal high tide is what triggers mudskippers to breed, and while I cannot see the moon from the East Indian coast, I am simulating it in my London flat. Trenchfoot has been placed next to Doughboy's tank, and every night a dim light the same colour as the moon shines on our weird little walking fish. For the first time since they were separated, they can see each other again, but something is different this time. Doughboy used to cower by the filter, but tonight he sits by his burrow and puts on a display of monumental proportions. Day after day, and night after night, Doughboy and Trenchfoot calmly display at each other through the glass. And now that Doughboy has chosen a burrow, I took the decision to reintroduce our mudskippers. And this time, things went very differently. I wanted nothing more than to say that Trenchfoot and Doughboy jumped into each other's fins, made their way into the burrow, and did the thing that mudskippers do to make babies. That is not what happened, but what actually happened took me by surprise, because Doughboy is no longer scared of Trenchfoot. Just look at him stand his ground. Our mudskippers danced around for a few minutes before calmly pressing their faces together, and I think I can safely say they have accepted each other, and we are one step closer to starting a mudskipper family. But the crazy thing is that this was just the beginning, and if this story is to continue, and I am going to be in the tiny handful of people who have ever raised mudskippers, then there's a long winding road ahead. But with the tides and winds on our side, I have a very good feeling about this. Don't forget you can pre-order my book to learn about the fascinating animals in my videos. The link to Surfshark VPN is in the description, and for now, Doughboy says goodbye, and to check this video out.